So what I've got here is a Huina, well, I'm not really sure how you say that, but Huina 1569 bulldozer. And it's a pretty cool looking little dozer. I like it. But that's about it. It's not very heavy. You can't really push anything with it. If you just like driving around your living room, maybe that would be cool. And whenever you press the button down to make the blade go up and down, you hold the button down and it just cycles up and down, and like it won't ever like push the machine up when you press down. So get it all the way down like that, and then try to push some sand and it just won't push it. And so I took it apart the other day and I put some of those little fishing lead weights in it. I just don't think it was enough weight for it, so I'm gonna do that. And I've got another modification I'm gonna do with the tracks, where I take a little windshield wiper blade and cut it up and glue it to the track so it gets better traction. And then I'm gonna try to figure out some sort of I guess a different motor or servo or something for the blade to go up and down, because it won't dig into the ground and push anything. This is me just holding the blade button on the down. It just cycles up and down, up and down. And here's holding the up button on the blade. It just cycles up and down, up and down. The actual ripper on this thing, when you use its button, when it gets to the top, it clicks, and then you press it down, it will actually start picking the machine up. Do a little ripping. It doesn't cycle up and down like the front blade. Also, just so you know, I'll show you another thing real quick. Is the controls, the remote for this thing is just horrible. It's kind of counterintuitive, if you will. Like, it's got these two right here. You push them forward, the thing goes forward, back, they go back, or both ways it turns. And like I was saying, the blade up and down, you hold that, it just cycles. This one cycles. This is your ripper. And then the sound on, which is horrible, sounds horrible. These little buttons do nothing, they're just there for looks, I guess. I don't know, it needs some work. For 70 bucks, I feel like it should have been better than this, and it's not even the right scale. But I'm new to RCs and I'm just trying to figure it out, so hopefully some of the stuff I figure out will help you. So yeah, don't tell the wife that I brought this in and put this dirty thing on the counter, but I don't know if you can see this or not. A few days ago I took this apart, and right inside of here, it's a little hollow cavity. I put some of those little lead weights in there. Probably going to put more in there and hot glue them in. I've also seen a YouTuber that put on the tracks on these plates he like super glued a piece of a windshield wiper blade on there, because these things in the loose dry sand, they don't get any traction. And so what I've got is these little refills for windshield wiper blades, and I'm just gonna take and cut that top piece off that actually touches the windshield. And I've got a little piece here. I don't know if you can see this or not. See if it focuses. But I just cut that little tip off. And then the idea is to like glue it right in the top of one of these plates. Alright. Okay, so to take these tracks off, there is a little screw right here. Let's take that off. Put it in your magnetic tray so you don't lose it. Flip it over to the other side. You can probably hear those little weights I put in there rattling around. I didn't glue them in yet. Just wanted to see how much I needed to put in there. But then, just pull this away, pull this one away, and then this comes right off. But these false hydraulics, they just slide in and out. No big deal. But then these tracks, that's another thing I don't like. These are so loose. They don't look good when it's driving. But what I'm going to do is just take these tracks off, go wash them with dish soap, so that super glue sticks to it. Another thing is if you put those lead weights inside of this piece like I was talking about, these little plastic rollers in that hollow cavity, all those little lead weights will fall down and keep this from rolling. And then on the inside of your tracks, I don't know if you can see that or not, but there's like, it'll start wearing into it because those aren't rolling. These glued, let them dry overnight. I skipped 3 plates in between the wiper blades I glued on. So, put it back together. You want to put a track on each side of the blade. Make sure the hydraulics go back in first. Alright, so when you put these back together, make sure to put the hydraulics back in first. Also make sure you have a track on each side. They won't go back on. Put this little white thing inside of the blade arm. Make for sure that this goes on. It's hard to do with one hand. And then just put your screw back in. Also, it might be worth noting that these are pretty aggressive tracks now. And so, whenever you run it, it doesn't do quite so good on flat, hard surfaces. Yeah, it kind of jumps around now. Good for out in the sand, though. We'll push a little bit of dirt, but you gotta find an angle that it blade will hit the dirt enough to cut into it. Because the blade won't actually go below flat.